Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And hey ho, it's Friday. We've made it another week, soon to be over. I do have a guest today. With a bit of luck, Roger shall be joining me, and we will do a quick Q&A together for a 10-minute video. There's a couple of other things I need to do. It's going to be a busy day, and I don't know if I'm going to get my usual amount of videos out, my normal 1 hour every hour through 9 till 6, but we are going to try and get as much out as possible within our constraints of what is going to be, for me, a very busy day. So we'll crack in. Now, it is a well-known saying that you cannot polish a turd. But in the case of politicians, you can at least roll them in glitter and make them very sort of spectacular turds. And that, of course, is what's happened to Michael Russell. He is the ex-president of the SNP, and yet he, despite being over 70 years of age, decided that when he, gave up that job, he didn't want to retire. He felt there was much more life in the old dog yet, certainly enough that he could continue to suck at the public teat. Some little parasite who's not yet prepared to give up all the money that the taxpayers can possibly afford him. And so he polished his CV, as it's claimed, in order to appear less partisan, less biased, exactly the sort of person they're looking for to lead as chairman of the Scottish Land Commission. Supposed to be an impartial job, but you have to wonder how impartial it can possibly be if your name is Michael Russell. So let's take a look at this very glittery turd and see why he won't give up the public teat. Here goes. So, ex-SNP President Michael Russell polished CV to secure the, quote, impartial taxpayer-funded job amid a leak mystery. Now, it is my opinion that deals were struck, little backroom deals, words were had, somebody said something to somebody, in a little smoke-filled room, little envelopes, little brown envelopes were handed over with what appeared from a distance to be newspaper cuttings, although, of course, it could have been money. And it's just that sort of thing. It's just sleazy, isn't it? It's just not right. Now, we reported at the time about all the shenanigans and the behind-the-scenes thing, but, here we are, and it's just not right, is it? So the veteran nationalist was appointed as the chairman of the Scottish Land Commission last year, despite protests from opposition critics due to his closeness to the Scottish government, and the fact the role is supposedly impartial and taxpayer-funded. Now, he's well into his 70s. He should be looking to enjoy his golden years. But, they get a little taste, don't they, for taxpayer-funded lifestyles. Big, huge salaries and do very little work, And it's like, I can do that. I could resign and let someone else have a go. Someone impartial. Somebody who's not actually tainted by a lifetime of association with a disgusting bunch of totalitarian Marxists, for the want of a better term. Ex-SNP President Michael Russell has been accused of polishing his CV in order to secure an impartial taxpayer-funded job advising the Scottish Government, and mystery surrounds who leaked the news to him after he quit his party role before he was meant to know he'd got the role. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm quitting. Why? Oh, I think I'm very, very confident of getting this role. How confident? Exceedingly confident. It was kind of stinks, doesn't it? It stinks like weak old fish. Anyway, the veteran nationalist announced that he'd been selected as the next chair of the Scottish Land Commission, which focuses on land reform, which is why he quit his honorary SNP role, as he was not allowed a conflict of interest. But the Scottish Daily Express can reveal that Mr. Russell informed the interview panel that he wasn't aware of any conduct that could embarrass the Scottish Government, Scottish ministers, or the SLC if he was to be appointed. Well, that, of course, was a lie. Because this is despite his tinfoil columns for The National, where he accused the majority of the Scottish media of being unionists and blamed the Scottish Tories for the Michael Matheson expenses scandal. Now, first of all, if the majority of the Scottish media is unionist, it's because the majority of Scots are unionist. And if you are someone trying to flog newspapers, you pitch to your audience, number one. And secondly, how on earth can it possibly be the Scottish Tories to blame for Michael Matheson? They weren't the ones sitting in the hotel room, iPad in left hand, knocking one out, and then putting in a fraudulent claim, and then lying about it, and then lying again, and then lying again. That was all down to Michael. The interviewers even asked him about his work as a writer, commentator and podcaster, and he claimed his views would not be incompatible with the SLC or the Scottish Government. His appointment in the role was criticised by opposition parties due to his spell as SNP president and because he was a long-serving nationalist MSP with a job needing someone who can be impartial. And there's no way he is impartial. Not at all. Don't even attempt it. He attempted to persuade the SLC of this during his interview, and he was asked how he would discharge his responsibilities in a non-partisan way that was not politically motivated. He claimed that his work as a minister was respected and recognised by cross-party parliamentary colleagues. I'd like to see a citation that that's true. I mean, it's just because you say it's so, don't make it so. We all know the rules. And there we go. Look, so there was this letter, right? So this was written on behalf. And I'm going to leave it up there for a moment. It says, I note that Mike Russell appears to know that he is nominated candidate for the chair, although as noted in my original email, public appointments team have not notified any of the candidates for chair or land commissioner to the outcome following interviews. I agree the lack of other candidates removes potential handling issues in that regard. But he quit his job. I'm not going to go through all that. But he quit his job before he was told he'd got the new one. Odd, to say the least. The timing, shall we say, is somewhat suspicious, as is this whole procedure. He knew, and I suspect he knew because I think, in my opinion, I have nothing to back this up, but it does seem likely that deals were done. And it's just, everything about this just stinks. And they're all complaining about it. I mean, they're all saying it's a flawed system. And really, it is. And I think, really, one of the things they should have is that no former politician must ever be appointed to what is supposedly an independent role. And Rachel Hamilton there, she's very much someone who agrees with that, and she's actually calling for that. So, well done to Rachel. Bad news for the old turd polisher, Mike Russell. What a glittery little turd he is. Coming up. Who does he think he is? He sits there, self-entitled. Look at me. I've done this important job. I demand that important job. I can't give up. I can't stop. I'm in my 70s, but I still need public money because greed. Got to keep going. I've got so much more to give. No, you've got so much more to take. That's the problem. Mike Russell, a man who is anything but impartial in an impartial job, but obviously not that impartial, not that unbiased, and one will only have to look at future decisions to make sure that this biasness is highlighted, because undoubtedly it will rise, it will come out, and it will be evident for all to see. Thanks very much for watching this video. I will round off there. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, definitely hit the subscribe button, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.